A Maple Valley Christmas is a pretty good film, although we do have a protagonist who's not always very likable. However, there is also something that happens in this film quite early on that I hadn't expected, and I'll discuss it with a spoiler warning in a moment, as I think is going to divide some people. So it's certainly a very interesting film. This was released originally in 2022. It's directed by Paul Ziller, written by Joie, Botkin, and Jerry Todt. Peyton List as Erica and Andrew W. Walker as Aaron. And Erica and her family run this farm, and she gives maple tours, and it's maple everything, and it will definitely make you want maple syrup. The scenery is absolutely gorgeous. Not just that, we have these gorgeous woods, and the nature is so beautiful. Aaron has come along with plans, basically instructed by his father, to buy out the farm, the neighbouring farm that's for sale. However, Erica and her sister had also had plans to buy it, so there's a bit of conflict between them. And of course, in true Christmas rom-com fashion, there are also sparks between Erica and Aaron. And honestly, things did not go the way I was expecting. Basically, from the beginning, it really breaks the mold of the classic Christmas rom-com narrative structure. Not completely, it's still very recognisable as a Christmas rom-com, but there were a few things that I hadn't expected early on. And I'll discuss those with a spoiler warning in a moment, but it certainly kept me on my toes, and I really liked that, and I thought it was just a little bit different. As I said, the setting is absolutely beautiful, it's quite festive. Aaron is really likeable. Erica, not so much. I'd say she's 70% unlikable. I'm plucking that number out of nowhere, but most of the time I found her to be quite irritating, even towards the end. That's not to say she doesn't develop as a character or doesn't improve as the film progresses. We do get some good character development, but I feel like she was often very unlikable. Not always. It's not that I couldn't follow her story, it's not that I didn't care about her, but it's just worth bearing in mind that if you're looking for a film where the protagonist is really likeable and you want to get fully on board with their story and become really emotionally invested in their journey, it might not be the easiest with Erica. That being said, it's a really nice film. For me, it works really well because, well, Aaron is a really nice character. The setting is really lovely. The narrative itself develops really well and is a little unpredictable. So, all things considered, I'd say it's definitely worth checking out. Generally speaking, I really enjoyed it and I had a lot of fun with it. Yep, we have a protagonist who's not always very likable, but that aside, it's a good film. If you're looking for a Christmas film with a really nice location, according to IMDb, this was filmed in Vancouver, as I feel like a lot of Christmas rom-coms are. I'm not entirely sure where a lot of the scenery is specifically. If anybody knows anything, please feel free to let me know. But it is, visually, it's really appealing. The narrative is interesting and a little bit unpredictable, and with mostly likable characters. It's a good film and worth checking out if you're looking for a Christmas rom-com you haven't seen. So, spoilers from now. I just want to discuss, these are actually things that happened really early on in the film, so they're not massive spoilers for the development of the narrative, but I just want to point them out as being things that I hadn't expected and that actually I personally don't mind. And I know some fans of films like this might not like one of them, but I'd love to know what you think. But personally, I didn't mind. And the first one is that we get a kiss within the first 20 minutes. I checked the time because I was really shocked, and I can't remember the time exactly, but it hadn't been 20 minutes, and we get a kiss between the romantic leads. That never happens. Christmas rom-coms are basically all about building up to that kiss in the final scene. That's the blueprint of a Christmas rom-com. So to break the mold, it was different, and as I said, I personally don't mind. But I think some people, if somebody says they don't like that, I can understand why, because you're messing with a formula that really, really works. And if some people enjoy the build up to that moment, then I can understand why having the kiss within the first 20 minutes is going to ruin that. But personally, I didn't mind it. The second thing that took me by surprise is when Aaron decided to just say, okay, I won't buy the land then, I'll just back out of the deal. And that's not to say it's plain sailing after that, but I was really shocked at how quickly that happened. Maybe it's a little unrealistic. His father certainly thought it was an unrealistic response, but usually things take a little bit longer to get to that point. But because that happened much earlier, it means the relationship between the characters is a little bit different, almost in reverse to what it usually is in a Christmas rom-com. So they definitely took some risks with the kiss. With Aaron dropping out earlier, not so much. That gave us some really interesting scenes between Aaron and his father, and that might not have happened if they'd withheld that for quite a while. So actually, I think that was a really good decision. The early kiss for me is not a bad decision, but if somebody doesn't like it, I can completely understand where they're coming from. Definitely a very different film. At least in some ways. It's still very recognisable as a Christmas rom-com, and a really good one at that, but it's also something a little bit different. If it sounds like your kind of film, I'd say A Maple Valley Christmas is definitely worth checking out. I really enjoyed it.